Hello everyone. So since you all wanted it, I'm gonna do videos about explaining the charts, the things that I'm seeing. Hopefully you'll like it. It's much easier for me to explain things that I'm seeing while talking rather than writing, and then then I don't have any grammatical errors while I'm writing it. So it's gonna be so much easier to do it like this. Uh, Today I'm gonna show you the pattern theory, the adjusted one that I'm seeing right now. So this video is about FTDs, volume, and the pattern that is reoccurring. I'm gonna do more, but let's keep it short. First of all, things that we need to understand. The FTDs are shares IOUs that were not delivered to people who bought them, so the broker could not find shares, so it turned into an undelivered share or an FTD. That report comes out every 15 days. So at the end of this month, end of November, we'll get the report for the first 2 weeks, 2 trading weeks of November. So the SEC should give us the report in the next couple of days for this period around here. For all of these before, we have them marked as red boxes. Lowest volume, uh, basically the volume of traded stocks, the volume of the AMC is marked in yellow boxes. Please also take into consideration that the volume on some sites is not correct, especially Webull. I do not know why Webull only has different volumes than multiple other sites. So I'm using TradingView just so you know. Currently, we had the lowest volume in this year in this period round. Here, that is since maybe beginning of November till today, lowest volume on AMC that we have seen this year. So let's first understand the pattern that is reoccurring. You've seen me posting a lot of different types of patterns that we saw, and I must say that I was wrong regarding some of them. But each time you see a pattern, you need to recalibrate it. And the thing that I was wrong about is the AMC, uh, the overall pattern. I thought that these two are completely the same pattern, but they are not. Uh, I would say that both of them are uh, versions of a pattern, but everything here is one pattern. So what I mean by that is that even though they act quite similar, they are not the same. They are all one pattern. And the pattern here that we are seeing and why it's not the same as the what is it, the June jump to 72 is because the pattern started acting like on November 20th. So beginning of this year somewhere is where our pattern is currently continuing here. So that's actually a good thing. We had a bigger jump here on January than we had on to $20, 20 something, than we had on 70, $72 on the second jump. So if the pattern is acting like this, as we are seeing here, over here, it means that the jump would be even bigger. My estimate was that we will see 250 to 280, $300 based on this here jump. But based on this, if the pattern is acting like this and we have a completely new cycle of these things happening here, the estimate would be around $400 to $500. So it's quite a nice jump, maybe 300, 400% more. This is an increase of 1,300%. This was an increase of 800. So why I am thinking that? Let me first show you. First of all, the amount of FTDs here that we saw and volume was tremendously low, and while FTDs were all red ones are FTDs over 1 million. The FTDs were massive also here, and the volume was low. They stopped the jumps of AMC as we see on the pennants here, breaking the wedge, or in this case was, yeah, something as a bull flag similar to it as we are seeing right now. Okay, if we draw it like this, if we draw it like this, the blue ones are the ones that I'm drawing right now to show you the similarities with this. So we have here a clean W jump and forcing, yeah, the breaking of the pennant, fighting it, blah, going down, going down, going down, blah, 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 breaking it slowly here on this part, then massive jump and upwards momentum. Let me delete these ones. Okay, if we go into the pattern here on the beginning of the year, uh, we have 3 spikes here going down. Let me do it like this. Okay, like this. It would be much nicer. And a pennant here, which is basically parallel lines. From the first peak here under this second one, and when we saw a break over here, we had a massive upwards momentum, right? If we go to the day, up, up, and a parallel line around here somewhere, up, what do we see? Yeah, sorry for the hops. I don't want to re-record this over and over again. So basically what we are seeing currently from the first here jump, or I mean, if we place it even here, if we consider it the third one, look where it ends. It also ends again here. I think this is the actually the one over there that we are aiming for. So parallel lines, 2 of them, we see the pattern here. When it breaks this line, we'll see an upwards momentum, as we did here, right? The first peak, we have 2, third, and we have 2 more here. Same as we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, this one maybe not so much, but it can never be 100% the same. So when it breaks this line, it will have a huge upwards momentum, and I think the squeeze will start. Here, as we see, FTDs increased and here increased just to slow down the price and to make algo a bit more efficient, right? So that combined with FTDs, low volume, look at it. This everything is low volume. We are trading massive amounts of shares on such a low volume. Again, if we pull it down here, we have multiple lines where it will break out. So hopefully this, where we are currently, this is today. Is it? No, 30th. We need 30th. Okay, so this is today. It will break within 3 days. 3 days, 4 hours, I'm seeing us breaking it over. Also, not to forget, we have a huge resistance here on $36. Not only in the last year, but since the AMC went public, there's a huge resistance, or in this case, support on 35.60, something around there. Also, a wedge forming from here to the peak to the low here, again touching the lows, touching the lows, touching the lows. Again, as we see, it's bouncing up on that yellow line. We touch the top line, 1, 2, 3, almost 4 times here. If we move it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, breaking on here. I mean, it's not always 100% similar because here we still did not know if the pattern is happening or not, but this is where we broke hedge funds. Also, we have a massive line on the underneath, which is starting all the way from here, where I think the pattern kind of starts and tries to pull out as much as it can. Actually, I think it starts somewhere around here, even though it's quite different than what we are seeing right now because of the huge amount of retail jumping into the shares, jumping in and buying AMC. But if we drew a line here through this bottom, we get a perfect ending of the big wedge over here. And that is in the next like 30 days. And we broke out here before the bull flag ended. So we had a breakout here before. We will have a breakout here before it ended. So it still did not end on this part. It should end here. So we had a breakout before it. Okay, that's when it comes to the pattern. Also, here we also need to respect that pattern is like 30% of the pattern is a mirrored version of itself. So sometimes it acts differently than it should. 30% is completely mirrored version of it. Uh, Here, if we drew a line, where is it? These ones are the most important ones currently that I'm seeing. And now look at it. I need to turn off the logarithmic view. That's what you need to use on AMC, unfortunately, to understand the pattern. But it's much easier to understand it if I do it like this. Okay, so we have a period of time, shorten it up, right? Go here, and wait, shorten it up a bit more, and we get a pattern. Look at it. Just look at it. Okay, you need to understand that it's a bit different when it comes to the time frame. This is much bigger pattern than what is occurring right here. And the best part is that this pattern here that is occurring, I mean, if you can see this, if you cannot see this, then I do not know what to tell you. We have jumps 1, 2, let's draw. So 1, 2, 3, 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. We have this jump here, here. 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, this one's a bit different, but depends on how you look at it. It cannot be, as I said, 100% the same. This lines up perfectly with this one. And if we line it up nicely, let's line it up nicely. Something like this, right? Let me remove the FTDs. Okay, the lines are getting messier and messier. Look where it breaks. Just look where the pattern that I've just copied breaks and starts the upwards momentum if we align it with this one. And it's exactly where my blue line here crosses and touches the red, touches the yellow, and goes up. So that cannot be denied. The people say that patterns are not actually occurring, but when things are repeating themselves multiple times on different fronts over and over again, then it's not a coincidence. If we see again in crypto going down 20 to 30% and then starts an upwards momentum, we cannot deny that the same thing happened here and here. If we see wicks jumping up and volatility increasing, it happened here, and again happening here before the jump, then it's not a coincidence, right? And again, FTDs, I need a report to confirm my theory here. Lowest volume, again, here, 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 before the jumps. This is massively, the volume here is just so low. And the FTDs will confirm it, trust me. The lines that I marked here, yellow, red, and blue, are the swaps and futures expiration dates. They usually they expire tomorrow or this trading week. So they expired here, 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 everywhere where we saw jumps. And now we are again in that period. Too many things are combining at same point and same location, not not to have an upwards momentum. You're seeing a price drop, but remember, we had the price drops here. We had them. We had the price drops here. It's just to scare you off. If the price is going down on a low volume, and again respecting some support channels, some lines, it does not mean that people started selling. If the turnover ratio, which is the amount of shares on the market being sold back, is just 3% of the shares are being turned over on the market on a 20 million volume, it means that people are not selling. If you're seeing a downwards momentum with a huge volume, that means people are selling. Everything is just manipulation. And this is, look, the pattern is just reoccurring over and over and over again. My expectation is if I drew this line a bit over here and we have this huge resistance, we have this resistance, right? Let me draw another line through this point here. So from the bottom to the last peak here, jumpward momentum to the bottom hop, and it needs to break it. And if we make horizontal line of this peak, it breaks here. again, again, it's just closer to the end of this huge pennant, this huge cycle, everything aligns perfectly to break it somewhere in this period. And I prolonged the video a bit longer than I thought, but I hope that you like it. And the last thing that I would like to say is the RSI. Just look at it. Up, up, down. Up, up, down. Now we need this to happen. Maybe here touch it a bit on the oversold thing, but I think we'll see that today on 4-hour chart. And I honestly think that we will moon in the next in the next month, maybe next week, like based on this. I just need to see the FTDs. I'll make more on the later ones. I'll post them. Hopefully you like them. Enjoy.